There's a lot of opinions floating around these days, and I got my own. You know, they may not be publicly acceptable, they may get me canceled, but it's my goddamn American right to speak them. And if you got a problem with that, suck my dick. In a world made for the weak, the meek, the beta males and the sheep, too soft for debate. If they don't agree, then they just block and try to censor whatever you speak. Only like minds on the timeline that they see. They anti this and anti that, so close-minded really, they just anti-facts. And you can show them the proof, but if it doesn't all align with their views that they've been programmed with from the news, then they don't want to hear it, or even fucking be near it. See, the truth is too much for their spirit, that's why they fear it. They try to tell me no, but fuck it, I'ma say it anyway. I've been waiting for the government to kill me any day. What the fuck, I'm not important enough? Must I talk about the vax, how they poisoning us? Or the Vatican and all the little boys that they touch? I'm not scared, shit, it's not like I'm avoiding this stuff. Yeah, the First Amendment still lives on through me and certain other motherfuckers who ain't on TV. We the last dinosaurs alive in AD. When we're gone, then you'll really know that freedom ain't free. But if everybody got to showing some balls, these agendas they've been pushing will be slow to a crawl. But y'all so fucking soft, obeying and going along, sitting there triggered over a song. I know the type, got a Black Lives Matter sign on the front porch, never had a black person in the house. Yeah, it's time to call them out. Virtue signal motherfuckers ain't about shit, they just running at the mouth with these pre-programmed points of view and these ludicrous facts. Asian hate, stop acting like you knew about that. If you need a safe space, there's some room in the back with fresh vaginal wipes you could use while I rap. Pussy, yeah, it helps them all sleep at night, knowing they signed a petition for equal rights for transgenders, talking like it's their fight, when in reality they never met one in their life. They don't donate or actually do nothing about it. They just sit there sipping Mountain Dew on their couches while they clapping for each other and circle jerking themselves. Applaud the loss of freedom and cancel those who rebel. And I'm the bad guy cause I'm white and not gay, which means that I'm a bigot and discredits what I say. But I'd rather have some toxic masculinity than have an inner bitch in me, bitch, so suck a dick of 3. See, the algorithm's keeping you lost, and now you're caught in an echo chamber of your own thoughts. Let me talk while I can and speak to all my supporters before there's lawyers, threats, and gag orders. Cause nowadays that's the American way, with this false administration that has led us astray. They want the country to heal, but they don't spell with an A. What they mean is to obey and do whatever they say, but we tired of that. So when I'm here to rap, I got a duty to the people to bring light to the facts. Never see a day I'm taking it back. If I gave a shit, then I'd use a mask for wiping my ass. And when it comes to the shot, I don't care if you got it, why you care if I didn't? I'm not understanding the logic. Shit, it's such a hot topic, you can get them in malls. I just got my 8th booster, fucking round of applause. People scared to say it, so they just say nothing instead. So let me make myself clear so they don't twist what I said. Hell yeah, I'll get the shot with a gun to my head after they pull the trigger and they vaccinate me dead. Raw thoughts. And I ain't no Democrat, I ain't no fucking Republican either. These motherfucking raw thoughts. I'm a free-thinking citizen of the United States of America, god damn it. Raw thoughts. And I've been seeing where this world's going, where this country's going, it makes me sick. These motherfucking raw thoughts. Fuck the New World Order. Take that vaccine and shove it up your ass. Raw thought. Oh, y'all thought I was done? Hell no. This is Raw Thoughts. You know how we do. Line these motherfuckers up. It's time to get to work. Where should I start? Joe Biden, I guess. Old Yeller. Shit, I'm honestly surprised he hasn't died on us yet. You ain't our president, dog. Shit, you don't have to pretend.
Tell me
Come
this
on,
was
Joe.
in
We all know that you ain't actually win.
Secret
Yeah, them
Court
puppet
last
strings
time.
holding you up. Weekend at Bernie's. Dementia really slowing you up. Should
What
we
do you
be
wanna
worried?
hear, Liberty
You're tripping
Troll?
upstairs, then you're sniffing on hair. Someone
Some
go
real
and get this
music?
geriatric
This
man
is
a
real music,
wheelchair.
bro.
And then you got his son making lots of loot from the Ukraine and blew it on prostitutes.
Jason,
So I
welcome
snort
in.
a line of
Howard,
crack rock.
Samba.
The protective case up on Hunter
Your
Biden's
name's right
laptop.
below.
So I'm typing
What
in
is
caps
going
lock
on?
like,
Dirt.
hi Fauci, I seen that
What
mail
up?
leak, dog. Better get a
Jethro,
better
JC.
antivirus called a Geek Squad. The king of backtracks. Last time I seen that many
Mazanga?
wrong numbers was me when I failed
Where
math
is
class.
that?
And
Mazanga?
Jen Psaki, I'm getting sick of that
say
lying
there,
twat
Freddy?
fire
What up,
crotch.
Big
Always
Sassy?
trying to
Thank
tell me
you.
they'll require shots.
And welcome
But
in,
if it's shots
Robert.
that they want, I'll let them have it. If they knocking on my door,
Jimmy,
checking
if
my
I can
vaccine
just say that,
status.
Mr.
Andrew
Giancola,
Cuomo,
Mr.
grabbing
John,
asses like the old days. Still had time
Giancola,
to kill more old
Casey
people than
Randy,
old
what up,
age.
DJ, what
We all
up? Lynn
hate
at the
you,
dark.
judge and
Mr.
defame you.
Gold.
I speak for all Italians, we don't claim you. Injected Rachel Maddow with a fatal strain of mad cow. Walked her up a massive flight of steps and kicked her back down. Seeing news come out, make me wanna smack the dick right out of Anderson Cooper's mouth. So ask your senator, pass me the AstraZeneca vax. Your relative's dad, go and jab your
Kind
stepmother
of fitting though. I did find it kind of fitting because sentencing is today on on this plea bargain that we're going to go over right here. So yeah, we're just going to get right into it. We didn't have the video, so we couldn't show the video, but Shannon says some things, and we can't just let it go uncovered. That clearly that's the way they wanted this hearing to go, as is evidenced right now. We'll get into it. We also this is Judge Metcalf. Judge Metcalf is saying right here, he's coming right out of the gate, because everybody gets with Judge Metcalf about things that are going on at the court, especially the internal systems and stuff like that. Like if the phone system's changing, they let Metcalf know first, just in case anybody else needs to know. So we also got a new phone system for the whole county. Oh, imagine that! Imagine that right during Lane's plea bargain, huh? Huh. As a part of that, our voicemail's not working right now. So I know there have been some people listening to this who like to then comment about court proceedings by leaving voicemails. We're not blocking you. It's just that we have no voicemail whatsoever right now. They're not blocking you guys. Buzz, what up? Vince, what up? Greg, Rockport Wrights, what up? So, yeah, we're not going to read the whole thing, but there are some things that need to get read. Okay, we're going to go over the plea bargain. We're going to go over what was said, okay, or what they say was said, right? What they say was said. Okay, so we remember from the last, yeah, this is bullshit for sure. Sassy, of course. This is just if anybody wants my opinion on, I mean, maybe you're here because you want my opinion. I think this was the goal all along. I'm not an eternal optimist. I think that they've got him right where they want him. So, yeah. But let's get to this. So in the last hearing, they wanted Lane to create the record. In fact, Rachel went out of her way. She went out of her way to say, no, we need Mr. Myers to lay the foundation here. So we're just going to see if that kind of played out the same way here. Let's take a look. All right. Mrs. Stiles. Probation is available in each case. So they do like a scoring. Probation scores you before you get sentenced. How much of a risk you are to the community. I'm not sure if it's out of 100 or out of what it is, but he was rated like a 6. So that would be not a threat to the community, obviously. But, so we'll go over this, and then we've got the, I don't know if it's 41 pages, the 41 pages of letters from Shannon and Matt, and then some anonymous letters, so just some letters that Shannon and Matt wrote, and wrote anonymous on it. But all scared government officials. We've got to keep the government safe, guys. They're super scared when you speak words to them. Okay, here we go. Okay. You have the right to file a petition for post-conviction relief within 90 days of sentencing. So I'm going to ask you for your plea as to each count individually in CR 2025-1060 as to the amended count 14, stalking, distress, fear, a class 5 felony that occurred on or about September 12th, 2024 through February 22nd, 2025 in violation of ARS 2923A1. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? Mr. Myers, guilty, sir. In CR 2025-1454 as to amended count 1, aggravated harassment, court order in place, class 6 felony that occurred on or about March 16th, 2025 in violation of 132921.01A1. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty, sir. Thank you. As to both counts, are you pleading voluntarily and on your own? Yes. All right, let me just take a look at something here. All right, so typically, Mr. Myers, at this point, I would ask the lawyer for the defendant to give me a factual basis. How do you all propose to do that today? Okay. And this is Rachel the retard.
Your Honor, we previously had some issues with this, so there's some confusion. I can lead through part of that, of just the information if that works for Mr. Myers. I don't know how he wants to do it.
I'd rather Mr. Myers lay out a factual basis, then I'll ask you if you agree with it or don't agree with it, okay? I'm not sure what Mr. Myers indicating means. That was Metcalf saying that. Court, okay. So Ms. Stiles, let's start with CR 2025-1060, and before you do that, let me get the statute just a minute so I have it available in case we need to reference it. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Stiles. Ms. Stiles, so on or about September 12th, 2024 through February 22nd, 2025 here in Pima County, Lane Myers knowingly engaged in a course of conduct. The course of conduct was by phone calls and then through posting videos on social media that were directed towards Shannon Walker, which caused the people that were following Mr. Myers then to reach out to Shannon Walker in manners that were threatening and harassing in nature. And that caused Shannon Walker to reasonably fear for her safety or the safety of her family. All right, Mr. Myers, do you admit that's what you did as to CR 2025-1060, I'm going to count 14? Yes, sir, that's correct. In the count 1, amended count 1. No, 14, amended 14. All right, so we're just going to revisit this. So on or about these dates, Lane Myers knowingly engaged in a course of conduct. Okay, I can get on board with that. The course of conduct was by phone calls. There were 3 of them, right, in total. By the injunction hearing. And through posting videos on social media that were directed towards Shannon Walker. Now, how were they directed towards Shannon Walker? Are we to extend the same logic, and are we to assume that Shannon Walker believes that this video is directed towards Shannon Walker? This video is not directed towards Shannon Walker, but it is about Shannon Walker. There is a difference, and it's actually important. Words mean things. Words mean things. All right, so posting videos on social media that were directed towards Shannon Walker. Okay, no. Let's actually, you know what? Maybe we can see. Stretch this out. Let's do this. No, it's not gonna work. Okay. Okay. All right. This one is definitely not directed towards anyone, right? So there's the description. Like many of Lane's videos, he didn't take the time to add a description. So in the description, you can tag people, right? I do it in mine all the time. I tag people, I leave information, but I guess I don't get it. How is it directed to? He didn't tag her. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You say so. All right, which caused the people that were following Mr. Myers to then reach out to Shannon Walker in manners that were threatening and harassing in nature. Huh. Okay. So other people, right? We're talking about other people? Which caused the people that were following... I don't know. I guess they're gonna have to make this word salad make sense. I mean, they're gonna have to, I guess, but I guess that's for another day. All right, so which caused the people that were following Mr. Myers then to reach out to Shannon Walker in manners that were threatening and harassing in nature, even though he never said to do that, and even though he specifically said to not do that, we're going to go with that. Okay. And that caused Shannon Walker to reasonably fear for her safety and the safety of her family. Okay. If somebody threatened her and harassed her, then I think it probably is reasonable for her to fear for her safety or the safety of her family, right? If people were threatening her, I think that's reasonable. But to blame Mr. Myers for that that's a bit ridiculous. They're just going to act like all Mr. Myers has in the world is friends. Okay. Okay, so we've got Metcalf says, okay, and then Stiles as to 1454 amended count 1 on or about March 16th, 2025. March 16th, 2025. You guys know if you can search by date like that? So, when would that be? Probably two. Sounds like Rachel's taking things personally. Okay, let's get back to this. So, March 16th, 2025, he made a video about Rachel. Okay. Sweet. Made this video about Rachel. At the time, he did have an injunction against harassment in place. At the time, he put up a video again on social media. See, if the court just recorded this, then we wouldn't have to try to decode the transcription, right? Because why have an accurate record when you can have somebody transcribe it? On social media, he was displaying her contact information, her public contact information that is on the University of Arizona website, and then displayed her public contact, and then again, followers were reaching out to Shannon Walker. So, oh man. And Mr. Myers was on notice that his followers did engage in that type of conduct when they saw his videos. So they told him that people threatened her when he made videos. Did they prosecute those people? They just told Mr. Myers, and then they didn't prosecute any of those people for threatening? Okay, and then Rachel wants to make clear. Okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I think we need to make clear that the harassment, so that Shannon Walker also did, in fact, feel harassed by that behavior. So they're going to talk about feelings on appeal. Okay. All right, let's get to this victim here. This is Metcalf. Okay, all right. And Ms. Stiles, does the victim wish to address the court at this time as to the plea? Yes, Your Honor. Okay, have her come forward. Mrs. Walker, you can just, I know who you are, but state your name for the record. Yes. Okay. And the issue today is whether I should accept or not accept the plea. If I accept it and it's set for sentencing, then you'll be able to discuss your thoughts about that at the time of sentencing. Okay, so we're going to get to hear about her, how this is worse than the professor that got killed. So, University of Arizona professor got killed a number of years ago, and Shannon Walker is going to say that this is worse than dying. And you know what? If you think about it, it could be a fate worse than that. You know, if people find out who you really are, right? If you're exposed to the world, I can actually see that twisted logic that, oh my gosh, this public humiliation that I earned, this is the worst. Well, maybe deal ethically. Maybe if you sign a loyalty oath, it should mean something, I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys have any thoughts on that? How to Rusty? There's not all hope is lost. I don't know all the legal intricacies in Arizona, so I can't speak. I know that he gave up a ton of appeal rights by accepting the plea, but not all of them. So that's all I really know. I'm sure there's legal losers everywhere that can analyze my take and tell me that I'm wrong. So, Paul, I don't know that that was initially my thought. Well, geez, let's deny this. Let's go to trial. But I get both sides. I understand I can understand why why Lane's doing it. So he's stood up to a lot more than many of us could take, more than I certainly could. So yeah, that's right. 33 lies, no less than 33 lies, and that was one hearing. That was not like a 9-minute hearing. So in 9 minutes, you lie 33 times, and she's gonna gas us up. Let's get to this because she's gonna gas us up good, and it's just one of her specialties, gassing up people. Of course, my name is Shannon Walker, Your Honor. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I do understand that today's hearing concerns the plea agreement, not sentencing, but because my support of this plea is tied to what happens next, I believe it's important to share what matters to me, what I hope the court will take into account as sentence approaches. 2 weeks ago, we stood in Judge Lewinsky's courtroom for a change of plea hearing. Mr. Myers was given a clear opportunity to take responsibility for just 2 of the 20 criminal charges he faces. He couldn't do it. Well, he did do it. He laid out the factual basis, and they couldn't do it. So let's be precise. He laid out the factual basis, and they couldn't do it. He was taking the opportunity to take responsibility for just 2 of the 20 criminal charges. He couldn't do it. That's a lie. So we're not starting off great. Okay. Ultimately, the plea was withdrawn. So the plea was withdrawn. So he couldn't do it, or he couldn't do it because the plea was withdrawn. Okay, because Mr. Myers refused to agree to what should be obvious to anyone, that his behavior would make any person in my position fear for their safety. His behavior, did he threaten her? Did he harass her? The allegation that he agreed to up top was that other people did those things. So now she wants it to be obvious to anyone that not engaging in harassment and not engaging in stalking would make any person in my position fear for their safety. Slow down a little bit. Everyone talks too fast in court, but the court reporter has to take it down. Yeah, why record it, right? Why record it when you can just have everybody slow down and the court reporter can take it down? What year is it? Why is this a thing? Can't we have AI transcribe at least as good as this? But we've got to pay what, like $400 for a transcription that we don't even know is accurate. We don't know it's accurate. Why? What's the problem with hitting the record button and having everything recorded? It just seems like a common sense, fail safe, backup. It seems like you only do this, you only do what's going on here when you want to, operate in the dark and have secret court. Okay. Sorry, instead he used that hearing to continue his lies. This is the first mention I've heard of him lying, so this is new. Continue his lies. I wonder if she said this because we've been talking so much about her lies. She's trying to turn the tables and do a little gassing. Oh no, we're not going to have that. Continue his lies. What did he lie about? And personal attacks against me. What personal attack other than you're a liar did he engage in? I'm trying to think. It was just that, right? It was just the lie. It was just talking about her lies in court. Okay, so she lies no less than 33 times in less than 10 minutes in order to get the injunction. And then she's going to say, continue his lies and personal attacks against me. I don't remember any personal attacks against you other than you're a dirty, rotten liar. That is not actually a personal attack. That is a true statement. It's the truth. It's the truth, Shannon. We all know it. You know it. The world knows it. The world knows that you are just a liar. You're trash. You're just a dirty liar, Shannon. Your oath is trash. You're trash. Your family's garbage. That's all there is to it. Okay, he accused me of retaliation. Oh, that's true. Right? I forgot about that one. So, the retaliation against his wife, right? Him and, or her and Stacy Jane allegedly, got with Zips, and then Zips took care of the rest of it, right? Perjury and unlawful conduct, none of which are true. All right, Can we get a vote? I wish I could like start a little vote here in the corner. Let me see if I can do this though. Shannon's going after the legal fund, guys. So, in hopes that that doesn't happen, let's just do our donating here today. That's Lane's Venmo. Next we'll find out she's going after his Venmo account, because all the people that donated to him, right? All the people that, think about that. Like, think about, I imagine there's, I don't know how many people are in the chat, but I imagine there's a good amount of people in the chat that actually donated to Lane's legal fund. And this rotten person, she wants the judge to order the legal fund goes to her. So all the people that didn't reach out and harass anybody, all the people that maybe sent an email or made a phone call where they said, hey, listen, we saw that you lied and we don't like liars, so we're happy that Lane's exposing it. You shouldn't lie. You should maybe resign. Maybe that's what you should do. You should resign in shame. That's what you should really do. If you had any honor, that's what you would do, but we know that you don't, so we're here. But this is just gas. Sorry. He used that hearing to continue his lies and personal attacks against me. He accused me of retaliation, perjury, and unlawful conduct, none of which is true. I wonder what the unlawful conduct is that she's referring to, but won't mention specifically. He used the hearing to deliberately distort the facts, deny accountability, and frame his actions as both legally and morally justified. Listen, he didn't distort any of the facts. I don't think he's denied any accountability, right? I mean, is he supposed to take accountability for somebody that reached out and threatened Shannon? Is that denying accountability? Okay, I would never want anybody to reach out and harass or threaten anyone on my behalf, right? So is that denying accountability, or is that recognizing reality that I don't want people to do those things and say that it's in my name or on my behalf? I want people to reach out for the legitimate purpose, right? That, you know, we have a constitutional right. We're supposed to have constitutional rights, right? We're supposed to be able to redress our grievances with our government, right? We're supposed to be able to do that. But not all the government, just, I don't know who. Because at the end of the day, who wants to be told they're doing a shitty job, right? We should just outlaw it. I mean, that's really what we need to do. We need to outlaw criticism of government. Because really, that's the problem. If we just outlawed criticism of government, then we wouldn't have any more problems. Guys, can I get a 1 in the chat for outlawing criticism of the government? And as I gave my statement to the court, Mr. Myers laughed, underscoring just how little he respects this process. The process of his kidnapping, of his abduction. But what happened in the courtroom is a small part of a much broader and ongoing campaign. One that he initiated and has continued even now to drive forward. Mr. Myers often pretends that because others have carried out some of the threats and harassment, he bears no responsibility. But the truth is clear. This behavior started with him, has been fueled by him, and continues because of him, and his own actions make that undeniable. Huh. Interesting. What's your guys' take on that? All right, there's one. All right, blue line transparency gave me a 2. Let's get this down here. I gotta see this here. That's right, everybody. The First Amendment's dead. Today. It died long ago, but today is the end. Sorry for swallowing on the mic there. He called me multiple times. True. He has tried to find me at my workplace more than once. More than once. Huh, Shannon? More than once. I saw him go to her workplace once. And it seemed like a deliberate attempt to not find you. To not find you. To have you not be there, right? It was the end of business. And he knows you're a loafer. And that you slack. And that you lie. So, no. He contacted my colleagues complaining about me and demanding I be fired. Well, I've done that as well. Not necessarily your colleagues. I've reached out to your supervisors, the people in charge over there. I also have been demanding that you be fired for your lies. Mainly because of your lies. Yeah. He posted a photo of my husband holding my severed head. Sounds like a thumbnail to me. Did he post the picture somewhere? Posts.
Need you to pray for me. I need you to care for me. I need you to want me to win. I need to know where I'm headed, cause I know where I'm headed. We both came up on the gritty streets of Jamaica, Queens. 2 street kids, now men. It's sad it had to end this way. But before I go into that, let's start from the beginning.
I've been waiting to murder this clown, B.
This nigga's done.
You ready to do this, son?
You
crazy? I'm ready to murder this clown. Son, please, get me across the street.
Nigga, you ready to go?
I'm ready. Yo, get me across the street. Let me go. Let's go.
All right. That would have been the picture right here.
I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. And niggas trying to take my life away. I put a hole in a nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you gon' see. Better watch how you talk when you talk about me. Cause I'll come and take your life away. Many men.
I'm thinking maybe he didn't post it. Maybe it was the thumbnail. Come on, Shannon. That's art. That's art, Shannon. You would think somebody as progressive as
Something special happen every time. I'm the greatest. Something like Ali in his prime. I walk the.
You would think somebody as progressive as Shannon would know what art is. You know what I mean? What's going on, Prophet? Oh. Alright. Where was I? Okay. He posted a photo of my husband holding my severed head. He emailed me directly after learning of his indictment. I thought that he had to do that for some legal nuance. I could be wrong. I'm not sure about that. He posted photos of my young children on his YouTube channel. We just went through his posts. I didn't see any young children. That's a lie. Knowingly exposing them to the same audience that he has targeted me with harassment and threats. Huh. And that doesn't begin to reflect the whole scope of harm that his followers who have contacted me at his direction have subjected me to. So our followers, I don't remember ever being directed to contact. But okay, that's cool. His followers, again with this followers verbiage, it's a subscription, right? Videos you want to see, you subscribe to. Shannon should know this. She's subscribed to Lane. You know what I mean? There's an actual step that you have to go to. You've got to hit this button, right? It says it right there. Subscribed. It's a subscription. It's a subscription. Nobody's following him. It's a subscription. We enjoy the content, so we subscribe to it because we want to see more of it, right? We want to see more lies exposed. We want to see more lies exposed. And you want to drag this out. You want to drag it out forever, it looks like. You want to drag it out forever, and you think that everybody's just going to stop talking about your lies because you effectively are trying to kill somebody. But let's remember that this is a fate worse than murder. Having to deal with the public scrutiny is a fate worse than murder. This is towering and feathering at a whole new level, as she'll bring out in her impact statement, that exposing her lies and her perjury is worse than being murdered. Whew. Some bold stuff. Oh, and that doesn't begin to reflect the whole scope of harm that his followers who have contacted me at his direction have subjected me to. Some have wished I would be raped and killed. I want to be clear. I don't want anybody to rape Shannon, ever, and I don't want Shannon to be killed. I hope that she has a life filled with everything that she deserves. Others have expressed his desire to see my children killed in front of me. That's sick. This abuse may come from different people and in different forms, but the source is the same. It all leads back to Mr. Myers and his lies. Does it lead back to Mr. Myers and his lies? Not justifying somebody that's doing the foul things that she's talking about, but let's talk about the people that aren't doing that, right? Let's talk about the people. What about Warren? You know, Warren's done his fair share, right? So Warren's gassed her up and gotten her scared. We've read the emails. We've seen the transcription of her voicemail. I'm not sure how credible that is. It's as credible as this, I suppose. The free voicemail transcription and the $400 court transcription. Let's not record though. We don't want to hit the record button. Should I give Warren a call? I've got his number somewhere around here. Maybe I should give Warren a... Yeah, I'm sick too. This is disgusting. This is the foulest stuff that I've ever seen in my life. You could not pay me enough money to live out there. Holy shit. You know, I've gone and I've gone across the Grand Canyon before. It was awesome. It was an epic. It was probably one of the most enjoyable days of my entire life, going across the Grand Canyon. But looking back on it now, I would not revisit the state of Arizona because of these people, these types of people that they're allowed to just run roughshod and do it. I mean, I think we live in a police state here in Florida. And it's not a think. We live in a police state here in Florida. It's clear. But holy smokes. This abuse, let's cut right through it. This abuse is coming from people other than Mr. Myers. She thinks it all leads back to Mr. Myers, but it all leads back to her and her lies. Her and her husband's lies. Every single court hearing, there's Matt in the back room, in the background with the lies. Oh, can we get rid of the videos? Oh, the last judge said we needed to get rid of the videos. Oh, they just lie. And then Matt with his 122 petition, Matt, the legal loser, with the anti-transparency. He didn't even have the courage to say that it was about him and his wife. He brought up Stacey Jane and somehow said, oh, this hearing is an example of harassment when he won the case. He won the case. He proved that it was people going after him maliciously over some bullshit, and that's the example that they give. Oh, because Mr. Myers is loud and live streamed our attempted subversion of justice, we should get rid of any hint of transparency. Only transcribers. They must... I wonder if Matt and Shannon own a side transcription business or something. Maybe we should look into that. I think we need to look into that. Do they own some stock in transcriptions? Let's get rid of all of the audio. Let's get rid of anything that can document what's going on. We'll just transcribe it. It'll be great. And since that hearing 2 weeks ago, his behavior hasn't improved. He's in jail. He's in jail, and she's talking about his behavior not improving. She's so out of touch. He has continued to participate in jail calls with his YouTube associates. Okay. We'll just talk about this. Is Liberty Troll still in the chat? She's talking about Liberty Troll. Liberty Troll has never spoken with Lane a day in his life. I doubt he even heard who Lane Myers was until I told him who he was. I'm going to go out on a limb and assume that that's the case. I could be wrong. But participate in jail calls with his YouTube associates. Okay. That's not a YouTube associate, you moron. She doesn't get that everybody has a voice, Shannon. Everybody's got a voice. Some voices are bigger and some voices are smaller, but everybody gets a voice. outside of Pima County. Reluctant Prophet is a brave man. He's got to be. I mean, we know you're looking over your shoulder because we can see it from the sky, right? But I mean, there's some scary writing on the wall out there, you know what I mean? In one of those calls, he referred to me as a victim of my own stupidity. So what? Is that harassment? Was that a threat? She is a victim of her own stupidity. It's either that or she's a victim of Malpractice Matt, the legal loser's malevolence or incompetence. You can pick. I'm going to pick both. He also went out of his way to deliberately say my name multiple times. Said my name. He also went out of his way to deliberately say my name. You can't say her name. And this is somebody else's YouTube channel, right? I mean, Liberty Troll is probably expecting an indictment any day now. After that call, I received a dozen more harassing calls and emails from his followers. From whose followers? From Liberty Troll's followers? That's an interesting admission right there. This is a completely different person. Completely different channel. Wow. These calls extend the same pattern of behavior. This is a little phrase that she likes to throw into things in court, like it means something. Pattern of behavior, same pattern of behavior, using others to echo his attacks, his lies, his efforts to discredit and intimidate me. Huh. Gas it up. These calls also reflect a willful disregard for this court's expectations. That's a lie. Mr. Myers told the court he would stop appearing on live streams. Pretty sure that wasn't live. So he followed the court order, and it wasn't even an order. He agreed to it prior to it being an order. He says he won't do live streams, and he doesn't. But Shannon's got a problem with that too. Shannon just has a problem with anybody having a voice that's contrary to her twisted reality. Huh? The twisted reality of Shannon Walker. So instead, he exploited a loophole. He exploited a loophole? Did he exploit a loophole? He talked ad nauseum about pretrial publicity, didn't he? I heard a lot about it. In this disingenuous cunt is gonna tell me that where is it? He exploited a loophole by pre-recording calls and having others broadcasting them. Well, he's in jail, so he can't broadcast them himself, right? The problem was Lane's channel. Now it's everybody else's channel that talks about Lane. Huh, okay. Stop talking about my lies. That's what this is. That's what this is. Stop talking about my lies. Stop telling people about my lies. I can outlast this if everyone would just stop talking about my lies. That's what she thinks. That's why it's a fate worse than death, everyone. A fate worse than death. Being exposed for what you are, a dirty liar that does the most despicable things to people. So instead, he exploited a loophole by pre-recording calls and having others broadcast them, and now he is asking the court to believe he'll honor even stricter terms of probation when he hasn't followed the most basic agreements already in place. But that isn't surprising because Mr. Myers has made clear he doesn't respect the court, the truth, or the law. He twists facts. He mocks the pain he has caused. What about the pain you've caused, Shannon? This whole tortured exercise is you mocking our pain, Shannon. Lane's pain, the people's pain. You know what my favorite movie is, guys? Take a guess. What's going on, Janelle? Mike, Vince. Kay Stevenson, what up? That's a good guess. That's a good movie too. But no, we're there, so that'd almost be like me saying I like what's going on. Oh, I like that movie. Oh shit, that's reality. Yeah, exactly. Favorite documentary for sure. So mine is the Princess Bride. Call me a sap, but it's a great movie. And you'll know what Princess Buttercup said when they were talking about mocked pain. Does anybody remember? Any other Princess Bride aficionados? Do we have one? Hold on, Michelle. The answer is life is pain. So, better get a handle on that. You better get a handle on that. He twists facts. He mocks the pain he has caused. He finds every loophole he can. He treats this entire process like a game. My position remains the same as it was 2 weeks ago. I support this plea largely because it forces Mr. Myers to admit guilt and accept convictions for some of the harms he has caused. But I believe it is essential that any sentence resulting from this plea include a period of incarceration that reflects the ongoing hell that he has caused and continues to cause in my life. We know this isn't true because she doesn't demand that the videos be taken down. She doesn't demand it. She doesn't demand that the videos be taken down because if he's incarcerated, if there's a period of incarceration, that means that the videos stay up and that the ongoing hell continues for poor public servant Shannon Walker. The conditions of probation should also be strict and enforceable. She wants some crazy terms and conditions too, right? She doesn't want him to be able to communicate with Prophet, with me. I wonder if she thinks I'll stop if the judge in some strange universe grants this lunacy. You can't talk to this person because it's alleged that I've committed some crime. Have I committed some crime? Has Prophet committed some crime? What are they waiting for? Prophet, don't you wonder? Don't you wonder what the hell they're waiting for? What the hell are they waiting for? No social media forever? And we're not even talking about the most important one. The keep my name out of your fucking mouth clause that they're going to try to hammer in here. Because saying her name's a crime, guys. Saying Shannon Walker is a crime. What up, Gio, my boy? The conditions of probation should also be as strict and enforceable as possible to prevent further harm when he is eventually out of custody. I strongly believe this is not just warranted, it is necessary. Mr. Minor has shown again and again that he is incapable of changing his behavior on his own. I am grateful to the court for listening today and considering the very real and ongoing danger Mr. Myers presents. Anybody believe that Mr. Myers is a danger to anybody other than corrupt government officials? Oh, really? I hate to laugh, bro. But, I mean, let's be real, you know. You know. Press Harder's in jail? Where at? Who kidnapped him? What's the over-under on him getting out of jail before they identify him? Because I think the hunger strike already started if Press Harder's in jail. Maryland, huh? Well, Kevin's up there. I don't know. I don't know what help he could do. Oh, that's great. Definitely. Please share that with me as soon as you've used it. Prophet, I'm very interested in that. Can I post a link of mine? Post a link of my what? You can post anything you want. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but I think they took it down. I think they actually took that down, Sassy. Let me take a look. Let's do it over here. I want everybody to see how terrible my channel actually is. Where are you? No, it's still there. It's still there. That's funny. Yeah, it's still public. All right, let's get back to this because we're gonna be able to correct the record a little bit here. All right, so gas. lifetime injunction. Oh, okay. Terms. Court finds there is. Well, you agree there's a factual basis, Miss Stiles, correct? Yes, Your Honor. Interesting. So, Metcalf, he was cool with all that, I guess. Other people, we didn't hear about Lane doing anything specific. Other people, okay. Sentencing, set the case for sentencing, okay. We're just going to kind of get through all this Resnick stuff until Lane starts talking. So I believe this whole conversation is about pre-sentencing release. He accepted the plea. He is making the argument that, hey, enough's enough. You've proven your point. You malicious domestic terrorists. Let's let the man go home and be with his wife and his dogs, and see his mom. But no, we got to make sure that that doesn't happen. So this is understands he's not allowed. The court will be a good probationer at 30 days. Court, problem is, let me interrupt you, but if he's on probation, we'll hear the argument and be able to set very clear terms as to what the rules are. Where I think today it would be very difficult for me to do that in a meaningful way because I'm not prepared to do that. Okay. I mean, you can argue that, but I'm just saying I don't have time to reflect on it the way I would for a sentence. Okay. Alright, so now they're talking about last time he was on release, the bond. Mr. Resnick, so I know you're relatively new to the case. I don't recall how long between then and when he was arrested again. He wasn't arrested again, he was arrested in court after the hearing, right? After the hearing. We set a hearing for that, so it was on Friday, and I had emailed Rachel and said because at the time I hadn't received the grand jury or any of that, so it was just a piece of paper that said on or about, this date. It didn't even say, as you can see here, it doesn't even say what it didn't say, made a video or any of that. So I went home and I emailed her and I said, well, I need to know exactly what, because, if there's a date and it has 7 videos all relating to the situation, which one is it that's actually that I'm indicted for? And at the time I hadn't had the grand jury transcript where they laid it out video by video. Well, now I have that. I know exactly on what day, what video that is a problem, because if there's 3 or 4, it leaves me guessing. So I made it clear, and this is why we set whatever, the modified release or whatever, was because I said because she said I refused to take the videos down. I wanted to come there and argue, well, I don't know which ones to take down, but it never came to that because I got taken into custody and I never got. So that hearing that why have an accurate recording of things? I mean, why have that when we can have it transcribed, right? It's even better than listening to it. Not as accurate, but better somehow. So that hearing we're going to have, that was like to discuss the conditions of the original. That said she said to modify or whatever, we were going to come to court that day, and we were going to get into the nuts and bolts of that. Of, okay, well, this video is for count 1, this video is for count 2, and also some of the counts aren't videos on my channel, so I couldn't even have took those down. Weren't even videos on my channel, but somehow they're a problem. Okay, originally. Okay. Alright, so this is all, we're kind of laying it out. We're saying that, listen, I thought the videos are the problem here, right? I thought the videos are the problem. I want to go home. I want to go home and I want to take these videos down so I can stop this alleged pain that's continuing, right? I want to move on. I need to work. My wife, we have a mortgage she's struggling to pay, like at some point this goes from proven, to just like, hey, I got bills to pay. I've got to go to work. It's peak season for working on ACs, my wife lost her. We all, my wife had a change of employment during this. She, her, when we signed the mortgage, we were making a certain amount of household income, and then she lost half of her income, and then she lost half of the income. So now we signed a $2,000 a month mortgage, and she's lost, now she's figuring out how to pay. She's struggling to pay, or work 3 jobs and stuff to try to pay my half of the bills. And like, if I'm going to get out, having an economic hardship just compounds this stuff. So like, we can, at some point, we all got to draw the line in the sand, okay? Whether it's I get out on pretrial release, probation, prison, at some point we all have to move on from this. And the longer you sit in jail, the harder it is to reacclimate. The more economic, it's like economic sanctions. I don't know the best word to use, but you lose money and time, and you can't get back to make that money. And I'm sure there's going to be money to pay for probation if I get on. I mean, obviously they offer probation, so what are we gonna do? At this point, I've already almost served the mitigated sentences, and so I mean, if we're not going to do probation, just send me to prison today and get this, because the sooner I need to get back and pay bills. I got, like, my wife has literally lost 50% of her, and we have a $400,000 mortgage, and we couldn't, like, if we were going to go in there today, we wouldn't be approved for that mortgage because we don't have the same amount of money that we did the day that we signed it. So I mean, she is literally suffering. And as much as I can, and as much as can I, the victim, and I don't know if I can say her name without getting, I don't know. And that's really not clear, because you did tell me I could do interviews, but I don't want to sit here and pick apart everything she said. She made her speech. I could easily prove that a lot of what she said isn't true. Some of what she said isn't true. It's just completely false. I know it sounded bad. It sounded bad, like this transcription. Yeah, I don't want to get into that, Mr. Myers. I know. Alright. The whole said her name, I mean, literally a piece of paper says her name on it. What? Hold on 1 second. Sure. Yeah, Judge, this is Resnick. Yeah, Judge, one of the things that I think Mr. So I don't know, maybe this is somebody from probation, Mr. G or Mr. Gee. Mr. Gee, who covered for me at an interview last week, or maybe these were the depositions of Matt and the officer. One of the things that Lane and I have talked about is, he's a First Amendment purist, and I'm not going to lie. The libertarian in me is sympathetic to that, but he has made his stand on principle, and as we all know, that's expensive real estate to try to hold, and I think he recognizes that it's time to move on. Whatever point there was to be made here has been made. He's going to be compliant and he's ready to move on. So he just asked for the opportunity to start reacclimating himself, to get back to life and show you that he can be a good probationer. If he can't do it for 30 days, then everybody knows you can send him to prison without. Mr. Myers, I'll show up. I'm not afraid to show up for court. Okay, let me just take a note to myself. Mr. Myers, I know that you're saying the conditions and all that, but I don't see why you can't order me to take them down. Hold on just a minute. Ms. Stiles, what's the state's position? So the state accept this plea bargain and they say it's a probation available, okay? Let's see what Ms. Stiles has to say. It really does. It undermines their whole case, really. I think it undermines their whole case. It makes them look like hypocrites. Your Honor, the state strongly objects to any modification. We are doing sentencing earlier than would normally happen. And as the court noted, we're not even going out a full 30 days. But he had his arraignment before, and at the arraignment hearing on the first case, during that hearing, he volunteered to the court that he would take down any videos involving the victim, and that he would not even be even using YouTube, and he would stay off YouTube. Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think he actually said that. I think Parvin might have said that. But Parvin said a lot of things. Parvin wasn't... I know they're trying to pretend that Parvin was his attorney at that point, but they're going to try to say that Parvin speaks for Lane, and that's not the case. Those were things being volunteered through his counsel at that hearing and the arraignment. So the court did order that the court ordered that he take those videos down, as this court just noted. However, he didn't take any of the videos down. He put more up. So he put more videos up regarding the victim that very weekend following his arraignment. So not only did he not take them down, he put more up, which caused more harassment, again, of this victim. And, he can say he was confused and he didn't know which video we were talking about, but it was all the videos. All the videos involving the victim is what he was ordered to take down, so he could have just taken them all down, and he did not. I have concerns that if he is... So I mean, it sounds like she has to be recommending prison, right? I mean, how can it be anything different than that? And if that's the case, the videos stay up, right? So right now she's saying, oh, the videos, the videos, the videos, the videos, the videos, the videos. Oh, the videos. But she's not, she's talking about what she would have liked to have happened in the past. Well, had you not arrested him and taken him off to the gulag, and you specified the videos to be taken down, then maybe those videos would have been taken down, you know? But jail definitely doesn't get the videos taken down. So you would think, let's get him out of jail so you can take the videos down if the videos are the problem. Are the videos the problem? I have concerns that if he is to be released right now without stringent terms of probation, if in fact he gets probation, that he will violate. We will be facing more charges and will be in the situation again. And more importantly, this victim will continue to be getting harassment from people. I wonder if all of the contact is defined as harassment to them. So when I went live, I imagine Warren, as soon as he found out, he sent her a little instant message. I wonder, I just wonder, you know what I mean? Is Warren harassing people, guys? Warren, you shouldn't harass people. Okay? While he's been in jail, as the victim noted, he did go ahead and now he's doing interviews with places that are recording and putting it up. One of those included, again, talking about the victim, stating her name. He can't even talk about his case. He's not even allowed to talk about his own case. He can't even talk about his own. It's got to all be innuendo and hush hush and oh. I can't talk about this. I can't. Again, it meant, you know, he didn't tell people to go to this website, but he did mention again that her contact information is on the website. Which means that people know. Well, he's in jail, right? I'm pretty sure that Liberty Troll didn't link or tag Shannon in the video, right? That didn't happen. He definitely didn't do that. And I'm sure that he didn't post Was it live? Oh, you went live with your commentary after it. I got it. Alright. So, this is the loophole that they're talking about. Alright. I don't see it. Go support Lane Myers. There's the legal fund. Thank you, Liberty Troll. So, more bullshit from Rachel the retard. Just bullshit. Tell people to go to a website. her information publicly posted somewhere because she works for the public, and it doesn't matter for what purpose you reach out to her. If you reach out to her, it's harassment, unless your name is Warren. If your name's Warren, no, he's not. He's not in the chat. I haven't seen today. I was not engaged for a period there, though. So he might have snuck in. Alright, so I don't really want to read her lies. So she's not going to want to do a motion to modify. She's not into it, you know. So they already, sounds like they already confirmed that he's got a place to stay. I know the victim does want to be heard. Shannon wants to be heard again. Does Shannon talk again? Okay. Here's Shannon again. Mrs. Walker, you want to come back up to the microphone and give me your thoughts? Now let's keep in mind that the videos on YouTube, on Lane's YouTube channel, are the problem. Because those videos allegedly are directing people to reach out to her and have the contact information there in the video. In other videos, you have to go through several steps to get the information yourself. Okay. Let's hear it. Let's get Shannon's thoughts. Thank you. Keep it short. We have been here many times before. Mr. Myers was served an injunction. He violated it. She doesn't want to talk about how she lied to get it. She doesn't want to talk about that. She doesn't want to talk about how she voluntarily dismissed it, right? She doesn't want to talk about that. She doesn't want to talk about how she used the same allegations and refiled another one. She doesn't want to talk about that. Okay. He violated it. Mr. Myers challenged that injunction. It was upheld. He violated it. Mr. Myers was indicted. He violated it. Violated what? The injunction, or violated what? That night, after promising to take the videos down, he promised. He offered to do it. That night, after promising to take the videos down, he offered to do it. He put my children's faces on a t-shirt that he wore. That is an outright lie. That's an outright lie. That is an outright lie, because I made the art for that t-shirt personally. I did that. And Shannon, that was the funniest joke ever, because again, it was referencing another one of your lies. See, Shannon, you keep saying that Lane's the problem, but the problem is your lies. Because you're not cunning enough to get one over on us with your lies. So we expose your lie about you telling the police that Lane was your ex-boyfriend. Not sure how that information got in there, but nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything. So it was a joke. I know that you don't have a sense of humor, but it wasn't pictures of your children's faces on a t-shirt. He put my children's faces on a t-shirt that he wore. No, he didn't. He put his face over your children's faces. Because it was a joke about how he was your ex and you maybe had his kids because you guys were exes. But no sense of humor for Shannon. She's got a lie. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. He put my family on it. He didn't put your family on it. He put Malpractice Matt, the legal loser, who's just as culpable in all of this as you are. Just as much of a liar, just as much of a snake, just as much of a human piece of garbage. That's what you people are. You're trash. You are trash. And that's maybe why this is a fate worse than murder. Because forever, the world is going to know what garbage people you are. He didn't put children's faces on a t-shirt that he wore. Let me find the fucking picture. What a disingenuous person. How disingenuous. Okay. So tell me, riddle me this. Is that a picture of her children's faces? He put up my children's faces on a t-shirt that he wore. No, he didn't. No, he intentionally didn't. He intentionally didn't do that, right? Shannon? What a snake. What a snaky snake. How snaky is it to say something like that? That's not true. That wouldn't be funny at all. What's the joke there? Right? What's the joke there? There's no joke there. There's no joke unless Lane's picture's on the shirt. That's the joke. That's the joke. Okay. He put my children's faces on a t-shirt that he wore. She can't help it. She can't help but to lie. She's a compulsive liar, this woman. He put my family on it. He thinks it's funny. It's funny. It's funny. He's looking for a way to get around whatever this court sets out for him so that he can show he is smarter than everyone, apparently. Mr. Resnick said it. He's a First Amendment purist. And I'm not sure why that would change when he gets out of this courtroom. What a revealing statement. She probably didn't even know she said it. How stupid of her. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing unlawful about the First Amendment, right? The First Amendment it's supposed to be the law of the land, right? It's supposed to be number one, right? That's why it's the First Amendment, right? She probably didn't even know what's the word? Whatever she slipped into. That's right. He is a purist. Huh. And she just admitted it. Everything was First Amendment protected activity. There we go. Good work, Shannon. And I truly believe that if he is released today, he will find some way. He will get his associate who is selling those shirts right now on his behalf with my family on it. Go on his channel under another name like Mike Oxlaw. Oh. Oh. Oh, shit. But seriously, here's another lie that Shannon's told. Here's another lie. She says that Prophet still in here? Prophet, are you selling t-shirts with her family on it? I don't think you are. I'm not selling any t-shirts with on his behalf with my family on it. That's not happening. Maybe, I wonder, I mean, if somebody is, I'd like to buy one. Exactly. Exactly, America First, FLL. I want one too. You know, the thing is I, just like a lot of things, but never mind. We'll just hold some things back. Alright, so she says that nonsense. He'll find some other way to do that and violate it. I ask that he's held for my safety and the safety of my husband, your poor husband, oh God, and our children, thank you. Nobody cares about your children. Stop lying and we'll stop caring about you too. Listen, I don't care about you. Stop lying though. Alright, thank you. Can you just send me to prison then, right now? No, I can't do that. Why not? The rules don't allow it? I mean, if I'm never allowed to be out, if I'm never going to be able to, just sentence me for 25 years right now. I don't want to do that. Mr. Resnick says, Judge, if I could just respond briefly. Sure. I know it's somewhat, I hear this a lot, pretrial services can't do what probation does. I agree they can't, but for 30 days they certainly can, because you have a lot of discretion in ordering release conditions. You could order him to check in every day. You could order him to... The question, though, this is Metcalf, is not that he's a flight risk. I don't think he's going to flee. It's his behavior. I don't know that pretrial services could go on his YouTube channel every day and look to see what's going on. What? They don't know? And what, Rachel the retard's not going to be tuned in? Shannon's not going to be... Not only is she subbed, she rang the bell. And she's got Warren on standby notifications. Get the fuck out of here with that. But the state can. You could order him to, because if it's on the YouTube channel, everyone can see it, right? Anyone can check. The world can check. Yeah, again, I'm not concerned about his flight status. It's just regulating his behavior. That's what the issue is, right? But I mean, a lot of that, everyone can do. These things you don't need probation to do. Anyone can get on his YouTube channel, see the videos are down. Anyone can get on his YouTube channel and see that he's not talking about the victim any further. I understand there are things that probation can do that pretrial can't, but for the next 30 days, it seems to me a distinction without a difference. All right. I just feel like it undermines their whole position. This is Lane. If the videos are the problem, why are they okay with them staying up? So, I mean, I'm going to be using that in my Rule 33 stuff, because if the whole point of this charge is because of the videos and she wants me held and go to jail longer, she has no problem with the videos being up. She has no problem with the videos continuing that quote unquote cause her harm. She has no problem, and the state has no problem with the videos. What's to say people can't go and watch the videos tomorrow and email her? This doesn't come together the way that they make it sound when they say the videos are the problem. But we're perfectly fine with the videos staying up. It's valid. I mean, it's a valid point that never gets addressed, right? That's the issue, right? We know it's not the issue. It's not the videos, we want the gulag. So my thing is, well, if you're perfectly fine with them staying up, then just send me to prison for 20 years and, the videos will be up, because they don't care about the videos. How does costing me more economic harm and all this stuff, what point does... Hold on. What point does it prove? It doesn't. Either I'm going to get out and do what they're accusing me of, or I'm not. And that's what I don't understand is it doesn't seem like they want to move on from these videos very bad to the point where they're okay keeping them up. And they keep making these, she keeps making false statements. There's she keeps calling somebody my associate. I have no control. It's like saying if K-Gun9 does a story, KOLD does it, they're associates. No, they both picked up on the same story. And it's intellectually dishonest, a lot of this stuff, truly to say that, well, we don't think he can, then why do you offer me probation? Why are you offering me this? Why don't I just go to trial, get 40 years possibly, and leave the videos up for the rest of my life? This doesn't make sense. And YouTube is not my life. I have a business, and YouTube doesn't make me money. So I don't understand how's that, leaving the videos up. I don't profit. I never made 1 cent off these videos or t-shirts or whatever they're accusing me of. I can't control what other people do. I can't control what other people do. And whether I'm in jail or not, people can make videos. I feel truly that if I'm not, the longer I sit in jail, that's what's pissing people off. That's just keeping, now you're going to say, well, we can't release you. Well, when can I ever go back home? And if not, I'm sure it's just going to cause more people to have things to say about it, whether I do it or not. Yeah, of course, the people have things to say about it. They're pissed off. Some people don't give a shit, right? Some people want this to happen. Some people are gleefully cheering the impending sentence, wishing and hoping that it's prison for Lane, right? There's those people too. There's all different kinds of people in the world, Shannon. You don't control everybody. You don't get to control everybody. Here's a life lesson. You only get to control yourself. You only get to control the actions that you choose to take, Shannon. So when you do things like this public corruption, and when you get called out for it, nobody feels any pity for you. I don't feel a shred of pity for you. None. I feel no pity for you. You're a horrible person. You're a horrible, horrible person. And they keep bringing up well, you told me I could do interviews. Well, I can't even talk about a piece of paper that has her name on it. This is getting into pedanic. Give me a pronunciation if somebody's got it down there in the chat. Pedanic level of stuff, like, oh, he can't say her name, so what? Then why isn't it blacked out? Other people can go on and make videos, but if I say her name, that's some kind of saying her name is a violation now. We're getting really, really, really off the court. So this is Metcalf. I want to hear from Mr. Resnick one more time. Mr. Resnick's standby counsel. That's his only role. He's the standby counsel. He's not the attorney. Go ahead, Mr. Resnick. Mr. Resnick. Yeah, Judge, I just want to point out, a lot of these things that are being done are not being done at Lane's request. This whole subculture is kind of new to me, the First Amendment. The First Amendment subculture. I'm an old dog. It's a new trick. But it occurs to me that if there's a lot of people trying to capitalize and make money monetizing their YouTube channels, utilizing Lane stories, that's not unusual. Media companies have been doing this for as long as there have been media companies. The OJ trial was a boon for every media company in the world, right? So is the Amanda Fox, rather. All these are stories that become newsworthy. I guess because of the news coverage and with no gatekeeper to the news coverage, a lot of stuff I think is being laid at Lane's door that isn't Lane's fault, nor did Lane advocate for. So that's my position. That's right. He's basically also making the same position that you can only control your own actions. That's who you're responsible for, and two is yourself. You can't. Lane isn't some Svengali. Pedantic. Thank you, Dirk. Pedantic. So yeah, Lane isn't some Svengali that is influencing, pulling strings on people. That's not what's occurring here. All right. While I'm sympathetic to the defendant's economic stress, which I believe is real, I'm going to deny the motion to modify conditions for a couple reasons. One is I do think there is a difference between having a probation officer overlooking the defendant's conduct versus pretrial services. One thing that probation can do is, if there is issues about the violations, probation can work with Mr. Myers to get him into compliance. Give me a break. That's a lot of what probation does. So probation's not immediately going to violate. They're going to work with Mr. Myers to get him into compliance. And Mr. Myers, I don't want you to think that this has any reflection about how I'm going to impose sentence. It's a probation available plea, and obviously I'm going to look at probation. But I think that you will be best set up for success to avoid the Department of Corrections if we have the right guardrails in place if I place you on probation. I'm very concerned about this spiraling out of control if I let you out now. So I'm going to deny the motion. I'm going to affirm the current release conditions where the defendant is held without bond. Can you verify that I can do interviews? Because this seems to be, 1 minute I can, then the next minute it's being used as a reason not to release me on bond. I believe what I ordered originally was that you can't do live stream. You can't live stream or attack the victim. I didn't attack the victim, or I'd be new charges. But saying her name, sir, literally saying this, yeah, I said, and they kept putting it out of context. I said it's hypocrisy to me that I'm being charged for showing her name on a website that you can go to right now and see right now. Anybody in this could go there and see it right now. And that's all the interview said, and that's all in the interview I said. If it was such a bad thing, then they should have took the information off the website. But it's still up right now. I just got sentenced for this. I just got sentenced for showing information that anybody can go look at right now. So the fact that when I mention that So this transcription, like I know that apparently I can't read, but this transcription is that how it sounded in court? I mean, we couldn't be bothered to hit the record button. That's too much. Page on. So the fact that when I mentioned that in context of this whole story, it's used as, oh, he's telling people to go. No, I'm not. I'm talking about the irony or whatever, the word you want to use for that. I'm being convicted of a felony for showing something that's up right now. And that's like, how else can you talk about that other than just in literal facts and terms? Okay, Ms. Stiles, do you have a position on that? Your Honor. Your Honor. I didn't get to finish. Your Honor, after we'd been in court and we had talked about the live streaming, he did get better with that. And then it seemed like in the past couple weeks, it went back the other direction. Oh, really? Your Honor, hold on. I didn't get to finish. She's not being honest either, because the thing that changed, she's saying, oh, in a couple, God, this is just unbearable. In a couple, we literally had the hearing where me and Mark Resnick stood right here and asked you to define exactly what I can and can't say and how I say it under Rule 3.6 and stuff like that. And you said, oh, you have your First Amendment. Well, it don't seem like it. So it's like you said, I could correct misinformation. Well, me saying, quote, it's still up there, how, and then we talked. She said I didn't like the live. I assumed that meant I could do live streams. I don't see how a live stream is different than an interview, but for some reason there is this technical nuance. But I said, okay, I'll just do the interview. I've done one interview. This is all being blown out of proportion like everything they're doing. Okay, let's have Ms. Stiles respond now, uninterrupted. Go ahead. Mrs. Stiles, Your Honor, what I would ask is that he is not able to mention the victim's name at all. Get the fuck out of here. The last one, the person was interviewing him was like referring, saying we're not going to say her name, and then Mr. Myers is the one that interjected her name and then stated her name, Shannon Walker. I would just ask that he not be talking about the victim in this case, because when he talks about the victim, it causes her to then get harassing voicemails and phone calls. It causes her to then get. Okay. Okay. And I learned about that he did this interview because, again, the public started reaching out to me, which is how I figured out that this pretty quick before I even heard from the victim, because there is the people that notify me about, he's doing it again. So this undercuts their probation, does a better job of policing the scenario, because Rachel's got a gang of she's got a gang of central planners out there to plan society and whatever image they want out there in Pima County. Shannon says don't say Shannon. That's what it is. Shannon says don't say Shannon. So Simon says don't say Shannon. Jason, what's going on? So if he just avoids talking about the victim, I think that would help us a lot. Plus, that would be good for demonstrating that if he is somebody that can be on probation. So somebody on probation can't talk about the person that victimized him. Lane's the victim. Shannon and Matt and Rachel, they are the victimizers. They are the rapists in this scenario. This is just so sick. Even if I'm on probation, I can say her name. It's no saying her name. Like, how ridiculous are we getting? I can't say, oh, I'm charged for stalking against Shannon Walker. I mean, this is getting... So what am I supposed to say? Make up, bleep bleep? I mean, come on. Come on. Literally, the paperwork says her name. Judge, I don't even know if the court can make that order. I mean, that's a severe restriction on somebody's First Amendment rights if they can't even say someone else's name. I mean, that's that they can't discuss a certain subject. I mean, and I know this is a nightmare of this case from a legal perspective. Right. I wanted to address this all as probation conditions. So, Mr. Resnick, I don't want him to do things that continue to harass the victim, but I'm sensitive to his ability to speak as the First Amendment. Although that could be curtailed, obviously, as a conviction of a crime. Sure. What would you suggest in the way that we get from now until July 1st without upsetting the apple cart? Well, I mean, I'm the one doing the interviews, so... Well, I mean, the confusion for me is other people can do the same exact behavior that I just pled guilty to. Nobody is going after them. And even mention her name, and we're here discussing, oh, he might not be a candidate for probation because he said her name. I'm going to be saying her name for the rest of my life. What are you talking about? The only difference is that I'm not going to be making a YouTube video. So what? I can't tell people that this is what happened. I mean, come on. This, but obviously, if you want to play this little, oh, I'm going to tell you to do this and you've got to do it because you've got to do it like in here, even if it's like I gotta give some to take, I have to settlement, each side gives up something to gain. So, you know what I mean? You get the point I'm trying to make. So I'm not going to say her name for 2 weeks or however many weeks, but you better believe there's no probation condition on this planet that says I can't say this woman's name. That's just, I'll special action that or whatever. Any crazy conditions, I'm putting a special action on anyways, because you can take away lawful activity, but you can't take away inherent rights with probation conditions. So we're already getting into something that I already see is going to be an issue because I'm hitting them with a special action. Anything that tries to take my rights away, not you can take my guns because I'm a felon, or you can take away drinking. That's not a right, Those things are not rights. But to say that I can't say this person's name, we're getting deep into you're going to need a federal court or somebody to show me some case law where, because I read things like, it's not directed at her. Yeah, why have the recording, right? Why have it recorded when we can have it transcribed? Guys, transcribed. I'm not directing people to say her name. Her name's on the website. take her name off the website, we can both. How about we agree to do this? She takes down her webpage and I won't say her name until probation or whatever, sentencing. I keep saying probation, so sentencing, because she's going to have to give something up too. If she doesn't want people seeing her name on a public website as a government employee, then take it off. Because anybody that looks at this court document for or against me and see a lot of these emails where people that don't like me that sent emails to just get me in trouble, and there's nothing that's stopping that from happening now. As soon as I walk out of here, people can start emailing her, oh, you're this, you're that, you're that. There's nothing saying those aren't people that are my quote unquote detractors or rivals on YouTube or whatever. So this gonna be going on. I'm on probation and other people are talking about her. I'm the one facing the wrath for it. This is gonna be, I already, send me to prison right now for 25 years and when I get out, hopefully we have all moved on. Because when is this ever gonna end then? When is this ever? So I've got to never say her name again? Come on now. Alright, I'm going to order that the defendant affirm my previous order that there be no live streaming and no conduct directed at the victim. Okay, so we're going back on July 1st at 2 p.m. That's an hour from now, guys. I didn't bring there is a case, as I recall, Supreme Court that does talk about impact on defendants' otherwise constitutional rights. Talking about, and I'll have that. I didn't think we were going to get into that today. And Mr. Myers, I want to hear from you on that. But there is some case law, because this is not the first case where, again, I haven't made up my mind yet, but if I place you on probation, there can be restrictions as to your constitutional rights. For example, you otherwise might have a constitutional right to possess a firearm, but that can be taken away as a condition of probation. Mr. Myers, that's not a condition of probation. That's a condition of being a convicted felon. That's a law. Right, even if you didn't have any prior convictions. No, if you're convicted of a felony, that's the federal and state law. That's the statute. You're enforcing a statute. Let's just say, for the purposes of the argument, that this is a misdemeanor. I don't know why we're doing that. Why? Okay. Yes, I understand that's the example. What I'm saying is there's some case law and everyone should be prepared. And again, if I place you on probation, I'll have to impose certain conditions and we'll have to discuss those, what those are like we are today. But there are conditions that we need to be sensitive about where that line is drawn. That's not the hill I want to die on. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I know. Mr. Resnick, are you telling me that I can't say her name ever again? That's pretty, but it's not like I'm just sitting there going, oh man, I can't wait to get out and say her name. Yeah, all right. Because her name has caused me all these problems. It's just super hypocrisy when all of these other people can say and do whatever they want about Shannon Walker, but I'm still here in handcuffs, going to jail. Possibly going to prison, and she's a government employee with an oath, a loyalty oath, and all this stuff. But so if you want to get into that, where's the equal protection? Where's the equal protection of the same laws for everybody? But again, this isn't a civil lawsuit in federal court, but we'll get to that eventually. The thing is that how can you not? Why can't you put conditions on other people? Well, they've got to be indicted first. Well, that's what I'm saying. See what I'm getting at here? So it's like you're only able to put conditions on me because they've selected me as the one to get indicted. Okay? So how can so you're saying that there's a case law that says you can impose conditions on me that take away rights that everybody else has, and that's what you're saying, right? Yes, because you've been convicted of a felony offense. Again, Mr. Myers, it's selective. Yeah, I don't want to argue that today. That's not before me. No, I get what you're saying. So how do people get all there to you, like, Judge, because if we're going to have thousands of people wanting to send you a letter on my behalf, Mr. Resnick, I thought was perhaps I could. So they're talking about getting emails now to the judge before sentencing. All right. I wanted to cover something else too, but I got to get off here. I didn't expect that to take more than 2 hours. I'll be back on in 45 minutes. As soon as the Honorable Doug Metcalf comes into court. So, I don't know, guys, say your prayers or whatever. I don't know what you guys believe in, don't believe in. But I'll see you guys in, sentencing it's at 5 o'clock, 2 o'clock Arizona time. So these pleas that he just accepted, we're gonna hear what I hear. I'll tell you what I actually think is going to happen. What I think is actually going to happen is that the live stream is going to cut off, and that this also is not going to be a documented hearing. Just like they hid this one, and just like they turned the live off on the Lewinsky one. So we were lucky enough to have Tucson Police Suck in the courtroom that day. I don't think there's going to be anybody in the courtroom today. So when the live stream goes down today, we'll only be able to rely on the great and perfect record of the transcription. Because why have the actual record, when you can have a transcription, right? I mean, it's like better because you can't hear anything, but better because you can do whatever. Oh, snap. Can I talk about this? Oh no, I have this already. Unless there's more. Did you get the did you get the other stuff, Prophet? Hopefully you did. You wouldn't give me... Oh, really? Is it not filed? I think I have a... what's that called? I'm sorry, bro. I didn't realize that you didn't have a copy of it, or I would have sent it to you. All right, so Shannon, I'm not sure if somebody can link to Prophet's video. Oh yeah, oh yeah, the government official victims. Of course, bro. That's funny. The poor government officials. He doesn't want to. He's scared. Oh, he's scared too. Oh boy. All right. We'll go over this real quick. All right. I don't want to do this right now, but it's right here for us. So here. There's those two things. All right, let's see what this is about. So anyway, the prosecutors, apparently a bunch of the prosecutors and apparently some people from the University of Arizona, they wanted to put some anonymous smear letters against Lane, and here's the motion to strike the letters and to strike the recommendations and strike the unconstitutional prohibition recommendations, objections to the pre-sentence report. In Arizona, persons other than the victim may submit victim impact letters during sentencing. The Arizona Constitution and statutes provide that victims have the right to be heard sentencing proceedings, which includes presenting victim impact statements. The definition of victim under Arizona law includes not only the person against whom the criminal offense was committed, but also the person's spouse, parent, child, and other lawful representative, and if the person is killed or incapacitated. Arizona law explicitly allows victims to present information at sentencing, including the victim impact statements. This right to extend to the victim's immediate family members if the victim is deceased or incapacitated. The victim has a right to be heard at sentencing. However, victim impact statements are not and never were meant to be a place for the victims to make their sentencing recommendations or to recommend probation conditions. Victim impact statements can include information about the victim's personal characteristics and the impact of the crime on the family's victim. However, these statements may not include opinions, recommendations about appropriate sentence. See State v. Montoya. Further, the court must screen the impact evidence for potential unfair prejudice, ensuring the fair administration of justice. That's totally what it means, for sure. Fucking legal loser, bro. In that instant case, the victim devotes a great deal of her letter to the legally forbidden practice of providing a sentencing recommendation. Defendant hereby requests that the court strike those recommendations and make no findings based therein. The defendant believes it to be the very height of hypocrisy that as he is being sentenced for having run afoul of Arizona statutes for attempting to expose the failure of state actors to follow the statutes, that they would then violate additional statutes and case law in the service of his punishment. These recommendations must be given no quarter. Non-victim and anonymous letters. Arizona courts have recognized that individuals other than those defined as victims under the Arizona Constitution may submit letters to the judge, which are then included in the pre-sentence report. These letters are treated as part of the normal procedure and are filed with the clerk's office with copies provided to the defendant. See State v. Mann. In Mann, non-victim members of the public sent letters directly to the judge. The court acknowledged the correct practice undertaken by the court in Mann was to file the letters with the clerk of the court and have them presented as part of the sentencing memorandum with a copy to the defendant. In that case, the state has provided anonymous, non-victim letters directly to the court rather than providing them to the clerk for inclusion in the pre-sentence report. Some of these letters include sentencing recommendations, a practice the state and the letter drafter are well aware is not permitted. As such, the defendant requests that the state strike all anonymous letters, and there is no means by which to evaluate them, and strike all sentencing recommendations from any letter provided by the state. Unconstitutional probation conditions. Setting aside for a moment that the court should not consider a single recommendation made by the alleged victim, the defendant notes that any probation conditions must comport with the First Amendment. To that end, the defendant notes the First Amendment protects the right to free speech, which includes the use of social media platforms for communicative expression. See Packingham v. North Carolina. A statute prohibiting sex offenders from accessing social media networking websites violated the First Amendment because it was not narrowly tailored to serve a significant governmental interest and burdening substantially more speech than necessary. Manning v. Powers, barring a parolee's access to social media violates his First Amendment rights, likely to succeed, injunction granted. In interpreting this conflict, the Ninth Circuit recently emphasized the importance of avoiding overbroad restrictions on speech that is protected by the First Amendment. See United States v. Gunnerkel. Conditional release must involve no greater deprivation of liberty than reasonably necessary. United States v. Solitaire. Condition limiting association with any known member of any disruptive group was overbroad for abridging the right to strike or protest. In the supervised release context conditions, restricting speech may be valid prior restraints only when narrowly tailored and reasonably related to deterrence and rehabilitation. The U.S. v. Turner. U.S. v. New Triumph. In crafting conditions, the court must ensure that conditions do not impose an overly broad prior restraint upon speech, lacking plausible justification. See Torrey v. Cochran. Conditions that seek to prevent a defendant from commenting on public officials and matters of public interest must be closely scrutinized. Courts have routinely sought to prevent a pall of fear and timidity over those under supervision who would give voice to public criticism. New York Times versus Sullivan. In doing so, the defendant's freedom of speech serve significant societal interest wholly apart from the speaker's interest in self-expression, and protects the public interest in receiving the information. Further, speech critical of the government is subject to the highest degree of First Amendment protection. Wolfson v. Cannon. That protection extends to criticism of those responsible for government operations, less criticism of the government. That protection extends to criticism of those responsible for government operations, lest criticism of the government itself be penalized. Rosenblatt v. Baer. Courts have always recognized that those who hold public office and other public officials may suffer criticism that is often pointed and harsh. However, that sort of robust political debate encouraged by the First Amendment is bound to produce speech that is critical of those who hold public office, and that criticism may not always be reasonable. Hustler Mag v. Falwell. The First Amendment reflects our profound national commitment to the principle that debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open, and that it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasantly sharp attacks on the government and public officials. New York Times. Therefore, in public debate, we must tolerate insulting and even outrageous speech in order to provide adequate breathing space to the freedoms protected by the First Amendment. Snyder v. Phelps. Lastly, speech of public concern may relate to private or public figures as well as public officials. Philadelphia Newspapers v. Heps. Dworkin v. Hustler Mag. Regardless of the outcome, the fear of revocation proceedings arising from a blanket prohibition of disparagement would stifle abundant speech and public concern. Doe v. Harris. Accordingly, the defendant requests that this court not follow any recommendations by the victim, as every recommendation beyond his mentioning her name he posts is blatantly unconstitutional and an infringement upon the First Amendment. Objections to the pre-sentence report. The pre-sentence report indicates that these are the defendant's fifth and sixth felony convictions. They are not. These are the defendant's third and fourth. The resisting arrest is wrongfully designated as a felony. Further, the other two felonies occurred under the same case number. Lastly, the harassing voice messages to the victim's work phone are singular, not plural. He did not encourage anyone to call the victim herein. What do you guys think? I'm excited to read this pre-sentence report once everything's done, because I bet it's just littered with trash. Littered with total trash, I bet. Alright guys, I'll see you in 30 minutes. Like I was saying before, if you pray, say a prayer. I'm not sure. Yeah. This is a public service.